Hello everybody and welcome back. My name is Winback, and on today's episode we are going to be playing some Azmodan. Azmo got a very... well, there's only one change that he got, but it fundamentally changes the way that his E, All Shall Burn, works with the most recent patch, and I am in love with the way that it works now. So, as always, it's a YouTube channel. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, ding the bell, share with your mom. I appreciate all of it. Thank you so much for hanging out. The team comps today are going to be Chen, Mephisto, Deckard, ETC, and Azmodan versus Gul'dan, Artanis, May, Lucio, and Abathur. Now, being that Azmo got one singular change, we're going to talk about that. It's going to be the focal point of the build, and I guess technically it was multiple changes to multiple changes because it was multiple talents that are effective, but it's still just a basic functionality change to the way that his E works. So we'll talk about our abilities first so we can talk about that quicker. But Globe of Annihilation is our Q. This has a built-in quest. Every time that we kill a minion or hit a hero, it is going to give us it's going to give us a stack of Annihilation, depending on what you're doing. And then once we get 400, that's our cap. But each of those stacks is going to increase the damage of our Q. It's Azmodan, not Gul'dan. Azmodan's main form of scaling. All of the damage that this character usually does is going to be baked into his Q, and that's typically how you're going to see him played. We're not going to do that because I like the way that All Shall Burn works, the way things are going now, because the ability is much more fun. I think it does a lot more in team fights than our Q does, and I'm really happy about the way that this thing works. The scaling on our Q also couples with all of our level 1 talents, so any talent that you pick at level 1, once you hit 200 of your Q stacks, you are going to get a reward based on which talent you pick, but it's all based around your Q, so it requires that you do some scaling with the character, which is, a thing. Our W is called Summon Demon Warrior. It's going to just... oh, he didn't realize that he was taking far too much damage to stand there and suck, so maybe that was his plan after all. Our W, Summon Demon Warrior, is probably the least impactful ability that we have in our kit, but the Demon Warrior is just going to walk forward. It's going to attack things, and it has a burning rage. So, as far as pushing lanes go, it's really helpful. But apart from that, all it really does is check bushes, and it, in this game specifically, is going to be used to try to detect Abathur mines. It's a minesweeper. It's a demon sweep. I don't know. There's something there somewhere. I don't have time to figure it out. I'm sorry. But that's it. Summon Demon Warrior is like, you're welcome. We did it. There's a whole group of talents at level 4 dedicated to the Demon Warrior for some reason. I guess they're fine, but we'll talk about that too. Our E, the most important ability in this build, All Shall Burn. We're going to channel on a target for 2.5 seconds, and then after we've completed that channel, as long as the character is within the range of the... oh my god, just so many fucking mines. As long as they're within the range of our E, it's going to pop and deal a bunch of burst damage, and the way that it works now, the way that the dev team has decided to buff this ability, is that if a target dies while being channeled on with our All Shall Burn, they are going to give us the benefits of the talents that we've taken. So, we'll get into the talents when we talk about the build, but just remember, if you're killing a minion, it used to be that your laser would just... and that was it. If you didn't finish the channel completely, you got none of the benefits of the full channel, which is awful feeling prior to this moment. So, but with this change, Azmo's got a shitload of clear. He can double soak. Once he hits level 7, he can just do so much more with All Shall Burn, and it is really, really, really cool. And I love it, and this is my favorite build for him anyway, so I love this buff. It's awesome. Our D, our trait, is called Demonic Lieutenant. It's a global ability. It works kind of like our Demon Warrior, but it has a 20-second duration, and it has an ability of its own called Demonic Smite, which is just going to instantly kill a minion every 7 seconds that the ability gets used. So, what that means is at least 2 times during the life of the Lieutenant, anywhere that you put it on the map, as long as it lives that long, it is going to kill 2 minions for absolutely 0 cost. And I don't know if you know this, but when you have 7 minions plus 7 minions on the enemy team and they're fighting, they usually kill each other about the same pace. If you slap a Demonic Lieutenant onto your wave, not only is it doing a shitload of melee damage and tanking some of the aggro of the enemy minions, it is also popping that numbers advantage between the 2 waves. So, not only is it ridiculously strong for, just global pressure, but everything that you do with the oh, please don't catch me. No. Okay, she still died. That's fine. I wanted to get out of this stun, but then I just couldn't. Gonna use a Demonic Warrior to take out some of those mines, and Lucio is going to sacrifice his life because I don't think he realized how strong my laser is. Poor guy. Poor guy. But anyway, no, Demonic Lieutenant, if a wave is unattended and the enemy team isn't killing the Demonic Lieutenant, that wave is going to push so obnoxiously hard that there is nothing to do except go soak the wave because it's going to be massive. I mean, for the enemy team, obviously. For our team, if you get a Demonic Lieutenant into a wave and it just builds up, you can take walls out, you can take forts out. Your wave can build so big that you can just kill entire buildings with just minions if the enemy team doesn't respond to it. So there's a reason it's on such a ridiculously long cooldown, which is 60 seconds. But let's talk about the build now, since that is the whole focus of this character for the time being. Our Q, I've taken Wrath. I don't think this was the best choice now, because when the game started, I thought, my team's going to rotate with me. We're going to go back and forth between the top 2 lanes. Chen's going to do his thing in the bottom lane. I'm just going to get a bunch of auto attacks in on lower health heroes, and I'll stack pretty quick. That didn't happen. My team has basically just been full on just sniffing the bottom lane this entire game. Same thing with the enemy team, I guess. Lots and lots of contest going over the bottom lane for some reason. Not that the bottom lane's actually important. It's actually the worst possible lane on this map. There's no boss. There's no night camp. There's giants, I guess. But even then, those don't really do anything. He died to mines. He died to a lot of mines. Yeah. I picked up his gems. I mean, you're welcome for me doing that, but whatever. What are you pinging me for? I don't really get it. What are you guys going in? Oh, nope. Deckard's dead. And so begins the enemy team's victory march. Anyway, we'll turn in our 47s, or our 47, because 47s? What the fuck? Sometimes my brain just comes up with shit, and it comes out of my mouth, and I don't know what I'm talking about. Lost 4 people on whatever we were doing there. But we turned in all our gems still, so could be worse. Could be much, much worse. I'm getting some mana here. Back to the build. I should have taken Greed at level 1 because I ended up being kind of the double-soaking, macro-pushing, no-team-fighting Azmo in this game still, even though I didn't want that. That's just kind of how things are going. Yeah, did you see the Demonic Smite there? He just, poof, got that minion. I love it. But hindsight's 20/20. So, it's a level 1 talent. You can't really dictate how the game is going to go based on your level 1 talent because you still have to scale with the level 1 talent, right? Ugh. Oh well. At level 4, I'm picking up Hellforged Armor because even though the armor's fine for making our demons last longer, the big one is the 4 seconds duration on both the warriors and the lieutenant. So adding 4 seconds to the Demonic Lieutenant means that he can use his Demonic Smite 3 times now instead of 2, which means that waves are going to be infinitely more dead. And that's great. Again, like, look at all this going on down here. There are 4 people on the enemy team just hanging out with the objective, missing their ults. This is just so... Now you're dying too. Maybe? This is 5 people, because Abathur's got his clone down here. I'm trying to come down to, like, maybe dissuade them from doing this, because I don't really need to do anything else on the map. But they're not actually doing anything. That lane is so incredibly unimportant. It's ridiculous. Still 1 gem shy of turn-in, and Abathur also didn't take Mule this game. So, all of the buildings that were... He wanted to go full mine, so he can't save any of the buildings from our inevitable death push with all of our fucking minions. Our level 7 talent is going to be our first E talent, Master of Destruction. You've probably seen it go off a couple times already. That was a weird trade. But Master of Destruction is going to, when our E finishes channeling or kills a character, remember, whether it's a hero or a minion, it is going to explode. And when it explodes, if it hits heroes with that explosion, it's going to do 4 annihilation per hero hit. But all of that damage that we're getting from the full channel, which is the 613, is now going to apply in a huge circle around whichever target that we've channeled on. I know. That's insane. That's so much fucking damage. And this is the whole reason that you can just use Azmo to double soak. He can actually take the night camp all by himself too. It's not as fast as maybe Azul can do it, but we can still do it pretty quick. I don't actually need my teammates here to do this. I could have done it completely on my own. Maybe added 5 seconds to that, which is nuts. Because he couldn't always do this. Or maybe he could. I think he could, even with this build, because you're not going to be killing any of the minions outright with your E. It's just a matter of how early he can do it. And I think as soon as you hit 7, you're probably capable. Because you've got the armor on your demons. Your E's going to explode. But our level 10 talent, Demonic Invasion, the reason I picked this ability up instead of Tide of Sin is because I like to just dump it on buildings that the enemy team is not paying attention to. The range on the ability is pretty nuts, and I can just kind of drop it, forget about it, and then go back to what I was doing with my E, which is just channeling in team fights, getting lots of damage, doing lots of soaking. It's really good. Like, it's really good. Tide of Sin, obviously it's the better ult, I think. It's the meta ult. It's probably the better description. But at 13, we're going to take Sedea's Kiss, reduce the channel time of All Shall Burn by 0.5 seconds, meaning that it goes from 2.5 to 2. And we are going to finish that channel faster. If we finish it on a hero, we're going to get 8% of our max health back, which is about 400 health at our current level, which is really helpful for staying alive, but the decreased channel duration is mainly what you want. I like Trample at 16 because having that extra damage and the movement on Azmo is absolutely super useful, incredibly good, and I don't know why more people don't like the talent, because having movement on an immobile character is very, 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 very strong. And at level 20, it looks like we're not going to make it there, but we would have taken Sin's Grasp for All Shall Burn, which is going to slow people by 15% and is going to reduce the cooldown of the ability if it completes its full channel, and it is going to slow someone by 50% if it's a hero. So if you hit a hero while you have Sin's Grasp going, they're going to be slowed by 50% at the completion of the channel. You're going to get the cooldown reduced, I think it's about 1.5 seconds. So you could basically just rip your All Shall Burn on literally anybody all the time in team fights. As long as you're positioned okay and you don't get the channel broken, that 20 talent is fucking nuts. So, being that our E is the entire focus of this build, you can see why we'd be picking it up at 20. I don't like the E talent at 16, mainly because it doesn't really help a whole lot in team fights. Whereas Trample gives you a lot more to do in team fights. You have a 60% slow. You got big-ass damage on the Trample, so it's good. It's good. Anyway, the build again, in case you need it, I took Wrath at level 1, not because I was especially good with it. Probably should have taken Greed. And Hellforged Armor at 4, Master of Destruction at 7, Demonic Invasion at 10, Sedea's Kiss at 13, Trample at 16, and then Sin's Grasp would have been our 20 had we made it there. But we just played the macro so much better than the enemy team, there was really nothing they could do to stop us. That's going to be it for this video, and we'll be back next week to talk about, I guess, stuff and things that also happened with other characters, even though this was probably my favorite change of the entire patch. I'm not going to lie to you. Was that low tier? Does that change anybody's opinion of me? I don't care. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much for hanging out. Azmodan is super fun, and so is his E. Pick it. Have fun with it. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. See